Hi, love. This is going to be your large spirit guide reading. I just had a card shoot out already while I started shuffling, so I left that to the side. Back on top. So I'm going to be using the Goddess Guidance Oracle cards. So I do have the guidebook for that because there's pretty cool messages in there. And then I'm also feeling the Everyday Witches Tarot, which is my favorite deck. It's actually my first audio reading, or not audio, but video reading I've gotten to do in a while. I lost my voice. We were all passing around illnesses, so just started to come back to normal over the past few weeks or so, and just added back in my audio and video readings. So I'm excited to get back in the groove. Okay, and I feel like I'm gonna want leave these out. There's a Book of Shadow so below, and I've also pulled this out too, which is the Witch's Oracle. Another Oracle deck, so I'll keep the guidebook handy for that. So with the spirit guide readings, I do work with a spread that I have. But then I also pull, like I feel like I kind of feel like you need a little more, there's a little bit more to a message, or there's something else to say. Okay, all the cards are falling out. That is your spirit guide, and they'll direct me to pull from another deck. So that's the Oracle. Alright, so we're going to start with representative of your guide, and the this card actually flew out of the deck as I started to shuffle. This is Ostera, Fertility. So I'm going to read from the guidebook on her. Is the perfect time. So obviously she's here because she wants you to start something. You've been thinking about a project or something. I didn't have a message from you, nothing in particular you want to look into. I did just have your image, which I meditated on a little bit before starting, before going into the reading. But I do feel this is the start of something here. She's present. I just asked for any kind of message, and I feel like she's present in your life for a reason. Obviously for a reason, but I mean, like, to start something new. Something's going to be happening. Oh, I just realized my blanket's in the camera. This is my daughter's Sophia, the first blanket. It's super soft, warm, and fuzzy. So I steal it during the day when she's at school. So springtime is any time when the light increases within your mind and the entire system. If you feel dark, heavy, or depressed, then you can lighten up by fueling yourself with positive intentions, nutritious foods, and anything that sparks your feelings of love. Surround yourself with beautiful flowers, brighten the colors in your wardrobe and home, and draw back the curtains to let in the natural light. You can paint a sunnier outlook within yourself, which will rise to all sorts of new opportunities, since like attracts alike. Feel more energized and powerful as you spruce up your inner and outer worlds, then capitalize on this increased vigor by starting a new project that really makes your heart sing with excitement. And then down here it says, is the perfect time for you to start new projects, access new ideas, and give birth to new conditions. Um, so, as I was reading that, oh, I just lost the page. What was the word that really stuck out to me? It was kind of like a ping in the head when I saw it. Positive intentions. So I feel, um, like there's like there's all kinds of memes and stuff, or memes, however you pronounce that, online, with the picture and then the words on it, and a lot of them are goofy and fun and silly, but there's a lot out there that are really inspiring, that get passed around. So I feel like those are something that you haven't really looked at before if you're on social media. If those are things, or even if you're not on social media, you can kind of go to Google and kind of search for feelings you're having and find things like that, or search for positive intentions, positive mantras. I feel like those are something that would be important for you to have around. That really kind of stuck out at me as I was reading the description here. Starting a new journey, starting a new path. So I feel like Ostara, is here for you, like that goddess energy that surrounds your guide, and then she's here for you to kind of draw from as you are starting down some kind of new path. Like there's been some kind of change in your life, maybe an end of a cycle, time to start a new cycle in your life. I feel like that's, her energy basically is coming, and that's what we're gonna, yes. And so the first card too is gonna go around along with this energy. So right away, Major Arcana card. I love seeing those pop up in the representative of your guide space, because those are your huge universal life lessons. This is the Chariot, and I feel like there's maybe some kind of change, a leap you want to make in your life. Um, you've been maybe intimidated, or you felt like you had to finish something up, wrap something up first, finish some part of your life first. Like I don't want to say finish, because it doesn't feel like it's done, like it's gone, but it's almost like you were responsible for something finishing up. This could be, if you have kids, them, graduating from high school, going off into the world. This could be projects you're finishing up at work, projects you're finishing up in your personal life or home, but there was something you felt like you needed to wrap up first. And with the Ostara kind of energy, it's saying, your part in whatever that was is either ended or coming near an end, and it's time for you to really kind of start moving forward on your own, seeking inspiration for your life, seeking that next part of your life. I don't feel that your guide is here to change your entire life, to take away everything you had and replace it with new things, emotionally, relationships, home, belongings, things like this. But I do feel that there is parts of your life, phases of your life, that are just shifting into a different direction. And that it's important to know that you don't have to have all the answers immediately. You don't have to know exactly how your ideas are going to build and fulfill as time goes on, but it's just important that you kind of decide, I have this energy in my life. Do I want to run with it? Do I want to step forward, make these changes? Do I want to start a new career? Do I want to go back to school? Do I want to, open a business? These kind of things. Or, it could be, do I want to tear up the backyard and put in a garden? Something like that. Something more earthly. But there is a decision that you've been trying to make, but you felt like you could not make it because part of you was wrapped up in one area of your life. And I feel like um, that's been loosened in a way, and that you are free now um, the word, free to move on. Sorry. So that is the representative of your guide, someone who is here basically with you in your life to help push you forward and move forward. How she is currently helping you, and I am getting a lot of female energy here. I'm getting a lot of not just, obviously I use the goddess cards, but just the energy, in particular, the fertility, and the female here showing up. I do feel your guide is like a female energy, and how they're helping you, how she's helping you right now. And we had the Page of Cups. So, again, this is like youthful, childlike energy. So, this can often represent, children in our lives, young children, but to me, or not to me, to everyone, but in this situation to me, I guess, I'm feeling youthful energy. So this can be someone learning a new trade, starting something new, a new venture, especially something creative. Like if you, I'm directly saying this because it's in the card right now, but with the painting, if you're a painter and you like to create, or you like you knit, or you write, creative. I feel like there's something creative in your life that she is helping you unlock from yourself. Perhaps it's something that you've pushed to the side, or excuse me, not looked as deeply into as you could have over the years, because you felt felt as if you needed to be in a different direction. Like, maybe maybe you're, if you're married, maybe your marriage was like you had to kind of fulfill a role where, you were the mother, and um, and took care of the home and things like this, and there wasn't a lot of energy or time left for the creative side of yourself. Or, perhaps this is something that you have dabbled in for a long time, but recently you've had more time to kind of really invest into it, and you haven't really known yet how to invest your time into this um, new kind of venture. So I do, with this being cups, and with the visual, I do feel it's a creative venture that you're on. um, I feel these awakenings inside of you. um, she's telling me I'm feeling like pull from the witch's oracle. So we have the hippogriff, which I'm curious. I actually don't think I've pulled that one before. Okay, so this comes with incantation, which is kind of like those, what we were feeling in Ostera, like those positive intentions and words and mantras. And this is interesting. I spread my wings and now I soar out of the doldrums with a loud roar. The higher I get, the freer I'll be. With nothing weighing me down, I'll shift back to the real me. So to me, that's the energy of putting aside something for a while, or parts of it. And it feels like it's something, even though it's a new venture and a youthful energy, I feel that just part of it is new to you. But a lot of it is something that's been inside of you and been excuse me, growing inside of you for a long time, and is ready to come out. And that's how she's currently helping you. And then how can you help yourself as she's helping you? And we have the Three of Swords. So there's been I feel like maybe there's been some stress or anxiety, some worries, maybe, something in a relationship, whether this is a person who, you were in a romantic, excuse me, a romantic relationship with, who, you parted ways, or, another loved one, a close friend, a close relative who had to move away, or, the two of you don't get to see each other as much anymore because of either, physical space between you, or perhaps they're super busy with work. I gotta sip my water, sorry. I started getting like really dry throat all of a sudden. So, something is keeping you guys apart, I feel, or just an ending to another part of your life. But I feel like there's some kind of sadness that revolves around an end in your life, and so or a not an end, because this isn't a major arcana card. So I feel like maybe it's a temporary ending. So like maybe it is like that friend kind of situation where you're working nights, they're working days, something like that, or they took a job in Alaska or something, and you're in one place, they're in another. And you don't get to see them as much, or maybe talk to them as much. But I do feel like because this is not a major arcana card, this is a temporary kind of loss. Maybe something you'll have to deal with off and on, but it's temporary. Um, I do feel this appears here, showing you that, in this location of how can you help yourself as they help you, um, to not ignore these feelings, basically. Don't dwell, don't stay in the sadness, don't feel bad for yourself, but don't push the feelings away either. It's important to, like, really shed our tears, bawl our eyes out, cry until your face hurts, basically. To really feel those emotions, feel the heartache. But if you keep sitting on that, I feel like it's like that mental energy blocking the creative energy. Or this could be too, the stuff that's going on in your life right now, the sadness. It makes you, it brings up feelings inside of you that reminds you of, maybe when you were doing whatever this creative thing was before, like maybe as a teenager, or 5-6 years ago, and something didn't go your way, or it just completely was yanked out from underneath of you, or you just did not have the time right then, and you felt really sad about that. Well, you're feeling sad about this other stuff going on. You're like, I can't deal with even more sadness if I try to put myself out there and start this whole new project, and then I'm declined or pushed aside, or I lose, or. So I feel like there's some stress and anxiety there, that you really need to access. And perhaps it's, and it's a lot of that mental kind of blocking the emotional, getting mixed up in there. And yeah, we can't just rush into stuff. Like, if this is a major life change, a major life decision, it's not just things that we can just jump into. Oh yeah, I decided I'm going to open a store, and a physical brick and mortar store, and then the next day you can't just open it up. So there is mental energy that goes into this process, but I feel like some of your mental energy might be blocking you right now. Okay, how can you recognize when your guide is talking to you? And that's interesting. I'd like to. Oh, and that's another too. That's very interesting as well. Um, so we'll start here. I drew this, and then I felt compelled to pull from the other deck, and they're both. We got the Two of Pentacles here, and the Two of. Uh, Remind me the word chalices. I'm looking right at it. Oh, well, some of them it's cups, some of it's water, and then some of them, the decks just have a different name. Um, so with this, the two, twos are always a lot about balance. Um, and what I'm seeing, what I'm always drawn to in this particular card is her balancing on like the teeter totter. There's two of everything, infinity symbol, and then this cat comes and kind of bop knocks her out of the way. So, and then we had the Two of Chalices reversed appear, which um, is a close relationship, not always romantic though. So I do feel here that we're seeing narrow avoidance of emotional pain combined with balance and another person's energy. Um, these are the words kind of coming to me right now. So I'll have to take a second and figure out what the heck I just said. That was very channeled. So, I feel like sometimes, you can kind of be waiting for the bottom to fall out, kind of compared to maybe past experiences, compared to other people's past experiences that you know very well, friends having gone through some kind of loss or pain, that removes another person from their life, and then this narrow avoidance, you know, upright, it's okay, reverse, this cat lands and everything falls apart. Um, you can kind of see, I'm trying to think of like an example to kind of explain what I'm trying to say here. Okay, let's say, everyone at work is coming down with the flu and you have to go to a celebration, a wedding or something. And everyone left and right is coming down with the flu. And you're like, oh no, I'm next. And then you just don't get it. You don't get the flu. And there's no reason why you shouldn't have, because maybe you work very closely with them, and physically close with them. And people were coughing and sneezing at work and no one knew what it was. Everyone thought it was a cold, and then they all figured out it was a flu. You should have gotten it and you did not. So that was the narrow avoidance. And there is other people's energies involved because you were still able to go to the wedding. So obviously I'm not saying that's something that happened to you, but that's what I'm trying to, that was basically what the guides gave me to kind of explain that big old word vomit that I did at the beginning of pulling these cards. So I do feel like, excuse me, I do feel that it is something to do with, because if it had just been this, I would have been thinking really anything. But with this, I feel like it's really a narrow avoidance when it's going to affect your relationships, connections, co-workers, family members, things like that. But there are other energies involved there, and it's things when it's sorry, I'm just sometimes in the middle of reading I'll feel like really heavy, and I pause for a moment to see if something is going to come through. I didn't get anything that time, but so if I get quiet, all of a sudden you'll kind of know what I'm doing. But I do feel this is an effect, basically. Perhaps, she's showing me this, like, if you have to speak with a person who you're close with and you're unsure of how they're going to take what you have to say to them, and then they take it totally fine. It's the opposite of how you expected them to take it. I feel like that is a lot of her in work in your life. Yeah. As I was going into the reading, meditating beforehand, I just realized this. Wow. The number I kept seeing going in was the number 22. So we have 22 here, when we're in the spot of how to recognize when your guide is talking to you. So I do feel like she's doing this other balance stuff, because I was getting a lot of that, but I feel that's why she was pulling my head down, almost making me feel real heavy, was to say, hey Renee, listen, pay attention. 2. That 22 I saw as I was going into meditation before, that is her talking to you. So if you look at the clock, it's 122, 222, 322, constantly seeing 22s, 22 in the license plate in front of you, 22 the date, important things happening on those days. So this 22 coming over and over. Yeah, the heavy feeling's gone. So that was what she was, after she first gave me the other explanation, she was trying to pull me in and point that out. So when you see 22, know that she is trying to speak with you. So I actually have a book that'll tell us the exact meaning of 22. Okay. The angels can see the positive results of your prayers, and they want you to have patience and stay optimistic while the final details are being worked out in heaven. This is an urgent call from the angels to keep the faith. So you're going to see this number probably appearing when you're thinking about issues, when you're trying to balance your bills, or trying to avoid conflict, trying to figure out maybe if you're going into a new business, figure out a business plan. But this number is going to start appearing for you. That's what I feel like your guide is saying. If you haven't been seeing it already, it's something to watch for. Um, this isn't like, you purposefully look at the clock at a certain time and, you see it's that specific time. But it is, just thinking, just glancing at the clock. Even, oh, what time is it? You glance and you see the time. Um, that's, pay attention to what your thoughts were at that time. If you want to get really into it, I would grab like a pocket journal, little notepad, little pen, something you can toss in your purse or keep in your pocket. I think they even make them that are go on keychains, real small, or duh, it's 2018. So the notepad on your phone, you have your phone with you everywhere, right? And so you can type into your phone what your thought process was at the moment, even just a few keywords of what was going on, just something you can look at later and maybe start to connect some of the messages. Maybe every time you think of your friend, I don't know, Bob, every time you think of Bob, you also happen to see the number 22 somewhere, but you don't really recognize that you're thinking about Bob because you're thinking about him like in the context of work, or the context of his wife was gonna, babysit for you, or the context of he asked you to pick up his mail while he's out of town. Different things that you don't really notice that each time you do it, you're thinking about Bob. That's a very simplistic kind of explanation, but you'll see easier, I think, as you journal, as you go along, kind of seeing how your notes take off, seeing how things connect, things like that. So, what should you work on during this lifetime? I don't know if you can hear the wind outside. We are currently living in Wyoming, and where we live, the wind is always like 80 miles per hour. Not always, but pretty much. What should you work on during this lifetime? So, wow, the tower. Whew. So, that's actually a pretty awesome, card to get here for working on this lifetime, because things might have fallen apart, crumbled to the earth and such, but it's the moments after that truly count. I mean, look at her face. Like, I might have just accidentally knocked that tower over, but I got this. She's like that smirk, and that is a lot of what the tower is. It's kind of like, I wouldn't be surprised if you were kind of spent some of your life building in one direction, having, one very strong romantic relationship maybe, or one important job, dream job, dream house, something like that. And then one day it just kind of fell apart. This could have been a lot of things falling apart at once. One of these things being ripped away from you, or not being what you really thought it was. It's in the moments after those is how we show our true character. And no, not the moments. No one's going to be grateful, like, if their spouse cheats on them, or if, their house is taken away by the bank. That's not going to be in the moments after. But it's in the time after. There's so many people who, when they are dealt, a poor situation, they go through the grieving process, but then they get stuck on one of the steps, maybe. Or they decide not to go through the grieving process, but maybe to push it away, and pretend like they're not feeling it. And then as time goes on, it starts to creep back in, until one day it's basically another explosion, another tower situation. the fact that this comes up, it didn't come up reversed, I don't think. No, I'm pretty sure it was not reversed when I pulled it. Um, if it was reversed, I'd say this is something that you have not been working on. But with it being upright, even here, like I get the vibe that it is something that you have been working on in this life. Those things that were taken away from you that fell apart, um, you didn't let that destroy you. I feel like you still, you did go through the grieving process. You did accept and be sad because, you're human and that's part of the human experience is feeling that emotion. Could be sad, angry, destructive. You might have physically broken a few things, broken a few things. But I feel that afterwards, you gave yourself all that time to grieve. As time moved on, you started rebuilding that tower strength and moving forward in life. I do still feel, this comes up because it is a lifelong lesson. This is many people's lifelong lessons, is this in a manner, one way or the other. And I feel like it still comes up from time to time, whatever it was, sometimes you think about, if this hadn't happened, my life would look, like C. Because if A and B had continued, would be C next. But B fell off, and then I went through all these other things, and I skipped C through G, and I'm on H. So, I feel that your life is turning out how it's supposed to turn out. Um, I don't know anything about you, and I'm not sure if some of this will be kind of offensive or not, because that is a big life lesson, and I'm not really sure what it was that you went through. So I really hope that I didn't say anything that would offend you, but I do feel, there was something that was taken away from you. Um, so what are your gifts? Oh, goodness. Oh, you're a sweetie. That's what your gifts are. Sorry. Six of Pentacles. So you are, basically represented by this witch in the center, giving to others. I feel like you're probably very nurturing. You think before you speak. For the most part, we all have our moments, but I feel like there's definitely you giving light to others. I feel like there are people in the world who can probably thank you a lot for gifts you've given to them. And I don't mean like a new car, but time, support, an ear, a shoulder, um, guidance, love, teaching them how to kind of, um, associate, uh, you know, tell right from wrong, growing their morals, and you've done this not by just words, but a lot by action. I also feel like you've probably had um, a charity or two in your life that's been important to you, that you wanted to provide time or energy into, um, giving back to other people, helping them make their wishes come true, kind of make a wish. Maybe I keep hearing the word wish, but the I just feel like this a lot of this giving back. So I feel like that's a really awesome gift to have, especially with this life lesson of the tower. I can see a lot of people getting very depressed and down on themselves and retreating. I don't feel like you're that way at all. Your connection with your spirit guide while you guys are in the spirit world. So this could be, and this is reversed, which is good, because if not, you'd be arguing with your spirit guide a lot. I mean, we argue with them anyways. It's just we get set in our ways, but so your connection with them in the spirit world, that's basically, in your dreams, deep meditations and visions and trances, and then in between lifetimes. And the Five of Swords here, when it's upright, it's a lot of gimme, gimme, winning at all costs. Like she's going, it's visually representative of the meaning. She's going to get everything here, and no one else is going to get anything. So it's not surprising for me to see this reversed right after the Six of Pentacles, going over your gift. I feel like a lot of your gift is part of your soul. It's not just something that you are doing in this lifetime, but it's something that's probably been a major part of you for several lifetimes. This is getting together in the spirit world and wanting the best for each other. So in my beliefs, the spirit guides are people who are souls who have finished their rebirth, regeneration through Earth and other planets, and have become like a much higher enlightened soul, and then they help others through life, especially in spiritual manners and soul purpose and stuff like that, but in all manners. But I see that you're helping your guide grow. So let's say, at the end of a life, someone is enlightened, their soul is enlightened, they become a spirit guide. Well, they might have been enlightened as a person, but now they're starting essentially, it's hard to explain. Like they're, a billion times more enlightened than I am, but there's other spirit guides have been spirit guides for millions and millions of years, and some, are just getting their start or have 1,000 years of experience. And while they have excellent guidance and have dropped ego, so go to other guides for assistance and help and understanding, and work together where they need to, there's still room for growth as they do that journey and themselves. There's steps to our soul's journey. So right here, I feel like a big part of you and a big part of her is really giving back to each other. She's helping you a lot mentally and emotionally, and you do the same for her. And you're both helping each other grow a lot. Sometimes I see people have like a kind of a stubborn card here, and I mean that makes sense. We have guides that we're stubborn with. I definitely do. I want things to do this, turn out this way. I like seeing this here because it shows me the two of you are very open and honest, that you've probably, you're probably a soul that's quite a bit older and have had, time to grow. So we're more accepting of her help than some others would have been. What do you need to be aware of right now? So here, the reverse Ten of Swords. So like this, we have a very backstabbing, a phase over in life. But reversed, it's a phase over in life that instead of someone else kind of pinning you down to this phase, backstabbing, it's more like, not that you're backstabbing yourself, but more that you're pinning yourself to this moment. If you understand, like refusal to move on from this moment. And I feel like that goes back to a lot of that growth, a lot of that changing. So that's interesting that we see this, the fertility at the beginning, Ostera, growing, changing, accepting differences. The Chariot was about just picking a path and moving forward with it, but stop feeling like you have to be in a situation, like you have to be something for someone else, especially if it's getting in the way of your life. And then this, very much to me, is you still being pinned down by your own mental energy, that you've been afraid to kind of make that next giant step into your journey, whatever it is that I've been feeling back and forth on for you. So any advice for your spiritual path? And so we have the reverse Justice. I'm curious as to what your shadow is. Yeah, Nine of Cups. That's awesome. I feel Goddess was first I reached out for. So the Nine of Cups is it's rumored to be, which is cool, because didn't we feel this earlier? Making people's wishes come true. So the Nine of Cups is always kind of rumored to be a wish card. Um, if you wish for something at the beginning of a reading, um, or you're trying to make a change in your life, but you need more strength and power to do it, seeing this card appear is very much about that wish coming true. You still have to work for it. You still have to be the one to make the moves for it. That's weird. Just got a whole bunch of dust, which is strange because I use these cards all the time. Must have been incense dust. So this is the Nine of Cups I'm talking about. So here it's manifesting, and meditating on your desires, law of attraction. So I'm feeling that whatever this decision is that you're wanting to make, that this change in your life that's coming up, you have the power, and your guides, they're all here to give you power and strength to sorry, just got excited again. They're giving you the power and the strength to move forward and to really get this accomplished. And it's going to be everything of your dreams. It's going to be all of your wishes. So now we have, and which is also, here we go again, I'm seeing this synchronicity from an earlier card for you. We have this balanced witch, this cat ready to take it all away. Well, we have her, built this elaborate sandcastle, and she's just chilling, just knowing everything's going to work out. There's a cat and a crab fighting next to her. She's not afraid of them knocking down her sandcastle. And then we have the waves, which are coming around, and they look kind of like they're treating her as though she's a rock. But they also are not knocking over her castle yet, but she's got that balance, that strength inside of her. And then it's very interesting that we saw this in the kind of like in the how she's talking to you, speaking to you, and it was the 22, but it's also about that balance and stuff in life. And here we're getting that same kind of message again, that balance and that knowing that the things that could happen, they haven't happened yet, so just leave them be until they actually do happen and are worth stressing out over. So anyways, I'm going to address the first card first. So this is your spiritual advice for your spiritual path. So we have reverse justice here. I feel like she's saying, don't expect. I feel like with the justice, there's very much clean and cut rules, regulations, order, succession, way things grow and build. Don't expect it to be so structured, narrow, rigid. Allow what's coming to you to come to you, and know that more will come to you over time if you are open to it. I'm really keeping like a vibe for you. I feel like you probably already meditate, but if you don't, it's definitely something to add in more often, or to add in. So this is also the your advice for spiritual growth, which I was feeling, don't worry too much about what the outcome is, what the structure and the line is. Just enjoy the moments of your spiritual journey. And then we got the Butterfly Maiden, which I feel goes very well hand in hand with the Justice card in this particular question. So, Butterfly Maiden, transformation. You're experiencing enormous change right now, which brings great blessings. As you go through this period of change, it is natural for you to wonder if your future is safe. I'm here to assure you that you're part of nature's cycles of birth, death, and rebirth. To bring in your desired newness, you must first allow old parts of your life to fall away. These changes are to be celebrated, not feared. Give thanks for the shedding of the old. Embrace all the lessons it brought, and then let it go. Be giddy with excitement at the newness of the gifts that are now being bestowed upon you, and let their magic surprise and delight you. So if one of the meanings of this card is don't be concerned about endings. They're bringing in the new for you. So I feel, letting go of the old, making these changes that are coming through, focusing on what steps you want to take in your life, what changes you want to bring about, really work to manifest them in actual physical labor work, and then also through meditation, speaking to your spirit guides, things like this. And remember to watch for the number 22. That was your spirit guide reading. Let's see, I'm curious. I really want to shuffle. No, I don't want an incantation. I want a mantra. Here they are. So I have these positive cards from the Law of Attraction deck, and they are not incantations, which is the only word I can think of right now. Affirmations. They are affirmations that you can say to yourself. So they're things you can repeat, write down, verbally, mentally repeat. You can basically just repeat them to yourselves, I guess. To yourself, not selves. I don't know. I guess you can repeat it to yourselves if you've got them, but to yourself as you need them. I do want to shuffle. Sometimes I will go through and kind of feel one I think is vibing from the guides, but right now I feel shuffle. Because again, I'm feeling like those positive intentions, positive words to remind yourself. I feel like it's so important for you to remind yourself of the positive in life. And I'm not getting like negative Nancy kind of vibes. And I do feel like maybe this is because you're already using positive intentions in your life or sharing positive quotes with people. But I do want to just pull one just to make sure. So I had two. I had one on the top. I was feeling more of the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and read the bottom one first, which is where my hand naturally went. Relax. I choose to relax and not fill my mind with worry, as that creates stress. And then honesty. I am fair and honest, and that attracts fairness and honesty into my life. This may be something you need that I don't realize you need. You may have dealt with some pretty unhonest people in your life, dishonest people, and perhaps that's why this card is showing up. But I do feel mostly this relax card, taking time for yourself and just releasing the worries, kind of allowing change to happen and not worry about the things that may or may not happen. I'm hearing that for a lot of people lately, and I think that might come from us having just stepped out of the Mercury in retrograde, where like a lot of crazy and stuff are happening for a lot of people. A lot of kind of negative things and things being knocked off balance. And coming back out of it, I think a lot of people are always kind of still expecting things to continue along that route, and not realizing that that's what just went on, or kind of just forgetting that that they can attract positivity into their lives. So again, this was I choose to relax and not to fill my mind with worry, as that creates stress. And honesty was I am fair and honest, and that attracts fairness and honesty into my life. Whew. Thank you, spirits, for coming today. Really felt you in here with me. I hope you enjoyed that reading. I hope that resonated for you. It was really kind of fun to get to know you through the cards. So I'll be curious to know what you think. But yeah, so I hope you have a really blessed rest of your day and a great week. Okay, bye.